And Mike. Ooh, hey guys,
Hey, we're back.
we're back.
Good evening. It's been a while since we've done a show. Welcome to the Touchdown Buffalo. I can't even get the words right here.
He's always had screw
Touchdown
ups
Buffalo
live.
Sports Podcast, Episode 3. Tonight we are previewing the NHL trade deadline for the Sabres. I'm Fred. This is my twin brother James, and he is Mike Toludo.
Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back, guys.
It's been a long time since we done this. So
Yeah,
I
it's been a long
appreciate you
time.
joining us, Mike. And,
Anytime. I think we got to do more of this.
I know we keep saying that.
Yeah.
I think
don't
we
need to
should.
hear
I
we
think
keep
we
saying
should
that.
scour the South Towns at different locations and do it.
Well, that's good. Well,
So
I
anyway,
agree with that with them.
So anyway, in tonight's episode, we are covering the trade deadline. Well, we're going to cover
Bloody
the
Wednesday.
first
What he
thing on our
wants-
music. It still wants to play down tempo on the thing. But
Well, that's
we're
'cause you're in
gonna
control of
cover
the-
a little bit of the Bills. Quick recap of the clearance sale that happened yesterday.
No, it's
Bloody Wednesday.
Bloody Wednesday.
You know, I was really. I think Bean knows what the heck he's doing. If I can give a few thoughts on it, I was really surprised with Jordan Poyer. But if you watch his play, the last year, not good. He was a leader, but his body was breaking down. But I thought they would keep him for at least a year to tutor and mentor, the guy who they bring in. But Mitch Morris is going to be a big loss, but sort of a small guy at center. They're moving a Govern over, and they re-signed David Edwards. The other guy, Hardy, was a bust.
Yeah,
in New
well,
Orleans.
that was like one of
Yeah.
the bigger surprises. Not bigger surprises. I don't think it was that much surprise.
The other guy, Saran Neal, all he was a special teams guy. Good ball player, but all he did play special teams. I was happy they brought Mitch Trubisky back. He had a good year backing up Josh. He's a steady veteran. I think Bean's going to make a major move in free agency. I think you're going to see a top-notch receiver come in here. We need to have a guy to complement Diggs, but a yard after catch receiver.
Well, see, this is where I differ. I mean, the salary cap, is what dictates all these moves. And the Bills were 50-something million over the cap there. And of course, with salary cap going up to 255, around 255, that's saving them about 13 million there. But still, a lot of these moves are, a lot of these
they're
moves.
they're restructuring Allen's deal. They're going to save
Well,
$20
we know that.
million.
Exactly. But the reality of it is that, we all knew these moves were coming. I mean, you all knew the changes were going to be made.
Speaking of Josh Allen, guys, did you hear the rumor? There was a CBS sports guy on the radio out of Chicago that said the Bills should trade Josh Allen to the Bears for their first pick overall, the 9th pick overall, and next year's number 1.
I did hear that one. That was
way for
the Bills,
Caleb Williams. What do you know Caleb Williams can do?
The Bills are not going to do that.
No.
That's
This
absolutely.
was one
I think
guy's.
he was just.
And he said it would be a win-win for both teams. How would it be a win-win for us? They said, well, the window's closing. We'd have to wait for this guy. We don't know what this guy's going to do. At least Allen, we know, what he's got, and he's,
I think it's a young guy. Yeah, you're trying to make like spins like a hypothetical. What if which I think he knows it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But he's trying to make a name for
and
himself.
he's smiling over here when you probably would make the deal. Let me ask you the other question too. Going around Buffalo, is Sean McDermott on the hot seat?
If you would have told me halfway through the season that Sean McDermott was on the hot seat, I would have wanted him fired.
Yeah.
At 6-6, that was my thought at the time before they went on that run, and what he did with that defense with so many injuries happening, Trey Reed injuring himself, Matt Milano during the Jacksonville game. It could have been a train wreck for that defense. And then when you decide to fire the former offensive coordinator, Dorsey, a lot could have gone wrong, but it didn't.
I think, too, you don't know what else is out there. I do like McDermott. My only problem with McDermott is he going to be like the Marty Schottenheimer and Chuck Knox? You get to a level, but you can't get him there.
You've heard that, but I think if nothing else, he's proved to be a top 10 defensive coordinator in the league. He proved that he could. He didn't need.
Do we know? Is he going to let Babbage call the defense?
We-
I
we
know he's a
won't-
defense
We
coordinator.
don't know at this point. I would assume so, but we don't know.
And let me ask you guys, what free agents would you like for them to retain? I'd like them to keep Dequan Jones
Yes,
Daquan Jones.
and Espinosa.
But Ebenenza, he's already retained Taylor Rapp for 3 years.
Gabe Davis, goodbye.
Well, that's a point here. Like you talk about free receiver. I think the draft is where they're a wide receiver. I think they're going to draft.
The only problem is that you got to have a compliment. You're going to have Shakir at the number 3, the slot. I think you draft somebody, but I think a veteran guy, like they need speed guys that can yards after the catch. We don't have those type of guys. Guys like Andre Reed. We need a veteran guy that can get the ball, get yards. But I would draft a young guy. You got plenty of receivers out there.
Well,
we don't have the explosiveness. If you remember the Kansas City championship game, not the championship game, the playoff game. Kansas City had 6 plays of over 20 yards. Do you guys know how many we had?
0.
We had nothing. And the thing is, Buffalo, that game, Diggs, I hope shuts his mouth. Diggs dropped that bomb. That ball was in his hands for a touchdown. He's got to make plays. I don't know. What do you guys think happened to him the last half of the year? Or was it the system that was sort of...
certain things that may have changed when Joe Brady took over that might have took away from Stephon Diggs, but you're also, you were trying to boost up the run game, which was stale. And going back to your point, Mike, on explosive plays, it's not like Brandon B said. It's not just trying to throw the ball down the field.
It's yard after catch.
Turn 5 into 50.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. Now, Michael Pittman has been franchise tag. We're not going at the top free agents. That I say there's a chance that Gabe Davis may come back. However, the market's probably going to dictate he might command more.
What about a guy like Ridley?
You wonder if he's lost a step. I mean,
Ridley? Jeez, it was out of football.
No, but I was saying.
Unless he was gambling with T. Rose.
I listened to a lot of Cover One, and they talk about Noah Brown from the Houston Texans. They talk about John Brown's brother, Marquise Brown, as an option. There's the Carolina guy.
Yeah.
A few of these arguments, but I mean,
what about Beckham?
No. I'm not going to get back.
No.
Like he's going to command a lot.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
He's still a New England Patriot.
Oh, Bourne.
Kendrick Bourne.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, if you look at the Ravens last year, and I remember listening to Romo during a telecast, the Ravens, not this year, but the year before, were really hurting at receiver. They went out, they traded for a receiver. They drafted the Flowers kid from
Zay Flowers from Boston College.
And they drafted another one. They went out and they improved that receiving core big time. We need to do that too.
Well, I was going to say though, but that's I think one of the bigger off seasons. Like if you're going to you're at least draft at least 2 to 3 receivers in the draft. You
got to factor in defensive line and safety.
Yeah,
we don't know how this is going to play out. I'm assuming there's a bunch of the safeties coming up free agency.
Yeah.
They're being released or cut or anything. So that's not. I think you're going to re-sign Taylor Rapp now. That
I'm
14
not a big
minutes.
fan of him. I don't know. He had the
Don't
interception against Miami.
Don't worry about that right now.
Yeah.
I would say he probably will have a crease role. I mean, we'll see how that's going to pan out. But I would trust that he'll be better. But they made a lot of coaching turnovers on the defensive side.
How about the running backs? You got Cook, but we are Murray. I don't really want to see Murray back. I like the guy they got to get a back. They want a big back around the short yardage goal line.
Yes.
And the other guy, who was the guy they brought up at the end of the year?
You talking about Ty Johnson?
Yeah.
Yes,
he's a free agent too. I'd like to bring him back.
Yeah, I think.
Yes, I would like to bring Ty Johnson back, but I also think you're going to need something.
You got to have a second guy
too. Now, I don't know if I'm going to say Derrick Henry at this point.
No.
As much as I love him, I respect him. Oh my God! He terrorized us for many years when he played against us.
I was
But
yeah.
you might be drafted.
I was excited last year when they signed. Was it Damian Harris from New England?
Yeah,
Yes.
Damian
But
Harris.
then he hurt his neck, and
The rest of the season, he was not.
Would he play 5-6 games?
That was
Murray. I'm not a big fan of Murray. He's a free agent, but I don't know. I think he ran out of gas at the end.
Well,
of the year.
he
Off at
showed
the end of the
like
year.
at the end of the year he tailed off. I mean, beginning of the year was great. Just a little.
Okay, I think we covered our bills before. We could talk all
I mean,
night.
I-
on
mean-
I will say,
Yeah.
add one more thing with
Yeah.
like Jordan, like Tre'Davious White. I mean, that was and Mitch Morse. I think was more of a surprise than
Yeah.
Tre'Davious White there.
Tre'Davious White only played 10 football games in the last 3 years, so he's a great guy, great character guy.
Yeah.
But really, he didn't really play for us.
Well, that's the
last 2
hard part.
years.
The injury, the ACL,
And I-
and the
and I-
MC. You feel
I
pretty.
feel
bad.
bad for him, but we have to move on. And
I agree.
um,
But I was right. You have the leadership. He's worked his.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, he was working his butt off. But at this stage of his career, I mean, I think you're gonna have the goal is to get younger and cheaper.
Yeah.
That's really, you knew that there was going to be turnover. A reset at certain positions,
Well-
and this is sort of what what's happened. And
we
so
gotta keep pushing. And I'd like to see a guy come in and push Tyler Bass. I was not happy with Bass last year.
I think a lot of people.
I think-
You speak of coaches too, guys. I'm telling you, I'm surprised. I'm surprised still
You're
here.
talking about Matthew Smiley. I know where you're
The
going.
Smile Teams guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
Smile.
the heck? That guy friggin' who
Well,
called?
wait a minute.
I didn't
He-
swear. I said friggin'. Who was the guy that called the fake punt in the Kansas City game? They had 10 guys on
Hold
the
on.
field.
Oh, yeah, that was no, but
And then how many? we
wait a
gave
minute, he
him
was the
big
number
yardage.
one the year before, especially the year before. So I don't know.
See,
What have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
That's the way I
Yeah,
look
Mike.
at it.
I will say this. I'm glad to have you back, Mike, because
Oh.
you two kind of covered
I
me
know.
of my talking points, and I have to do a darn thing.
Well, you're the host. We're
I know
supposed
I'm
to.
the host.
The host with the most.
We're like Fred's the number one receiver. I'm the
Fred,
number
how about
three.
some hockey talk? That's why you.
Thank you for at least
Yeah.
taking my thoughts out and putting it on footage.
the Bills are. Yeah.
All right,
Guys, I'm still excited. The Bills break my heart for 60 years, but I'm still back.
Oh, we're
I
always
will-
back.
It's for.
I just want one Super Bowl.
Yeah, we all do. I mean,
I want one hamburger.
oh, yeah, you need one
Your
hammer.
coffee's white right.
I'm actually having peppermint tea tonight.
I know.
Yeah, we got
White right. Famous words in Buffalo.
So
twice.
I was before this show started. I prepped 2 days in advance for talking about a potential if Casey Middlestat were to be traded before the deadline or in the off season, and unfortunately, my dreams were shattered because Casey Middlestat got traded to the Avalanche for defenseman Bowen Byron.
He's got a history of injuries, though.
A couple concussions, but he said the past couple years he's been healthy.
He's been behind, from what I understand, he's a very good defenseman. He's been buried behind Makar.
Makar.
Yeah, and
Same with Gerard. Some of our guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the host. I'm sorry.
This is not this former show. Stop interrupting.
Ooh.
So
Why do you think they traded Middleton? I thought they were trying to work a deal out with him because he was a restricted free agent.
if you go back to us, back to maybe about a month ago, Andy Pierce said they were shopping Middlestat. So you have obviously I was just going to say they weren't shopping. Maybe they weren't shopping, but a couple weeks ago when he appeared on WGR, he was looking to do deals where it would be prospect picks or straight up hockey trades. So in that aspect, I think people might be expecting a lot more for Casey Middlestat than just a player. But this is no ordinary player. This is a 2019 fourth overall selection in the draft,
No,
or 2018.
it was a 2018. No, I think it was a
I will get my
2017.
no. Casey
Was he the 8th pick of the draft?
No,
Or fourth? Was he really? Oh my God!
Well,
I will look it up
but
quickly while we're.
I mean, you look at the first couple years, he should not. I mean, first couple years it was a struggle. I mean, he couldn't. The famous story of him not doing one pull up there. I mean, that was. But then the last couple seasons,
I was right. 2019 444 all by the Colorado Avalanche.
you're talking about Bowen Byron.
Yes,
I was talking about Casey Mills here. I wasn't talking about Bowman.
I know you. I'm just giving you a correction, but go ahead.
Yeah, but you look at Casey, like he's slowly become one of the better centers in this team here. I think this when you look at the situation the Sabres said they need, Colorado need centermen because Gabriel Landeskog's still out, and then you look you look at say us. We need another top four defenseman to go along with Dowling and Power. Samson's been hurt. Eric Johnson's,
hasn't worked out as far as like on ice play. Probably more locker room leader or anything, but just the play hasn't been a fit this year.
Who? So I'm going to mention some names. You see them moving tomorrow. Oposo. I'm hearing the Rangers. I'm hearing he wants to run for the cup.
I understand that.
I could see Toronto.
I mean, I was going to get to that, but
I'm ahead of you.
He's the host.
Remember, I'm the old guy.
Yeah,
he's got sharper wits than us, right?
So before we get to that, because I'm going to bring up that point.
Do what you want.
Thanks, Shakespeare.
The old wise guy right here.
Right now, as at this point, we have total of 8 defensemen on this team right now. Now, Darlene Power's extensions do not kick in until after the season. Darlene's going to be $11 million, and Owen Power's going to be about 8.35, under 8.5.
Under $20 million here.
So you're right now, as it stands, your two RFAs are Yoki Garu and Bryson, and your UFA is Eric Johnson. So, just to wrap up the Casey Milstead thing, I wish him nothing but the best. I mean, as Jimmy pointed out, with how injuries and just how
well, not so much the injuries, with
just the drafting and development of him, for him to finally turn around. Yes, Colorado was definitely looking for a center, but they made a couple moves. Quite a few moves. Which was very surprising. But
I know they're Cup contenders, Stanley Cup champions. I mean, you're not going to a couple years ago. You're not going to senior Lords. You're trying to compete with Vegas. You're trying to compete with the Oilers.
Vegas trades like crazy, and they get rid of all their draft. They don't believe in the draft picks.
I know, but that's how they won the Stanley Cup last year. I mean, they're aggressive.
Picks.
I mean,
I give them credit. They're they're not sitting back. They're not afraid to make the moves.
No, I
won Stanley Cups.
Yeah,
and you have the knowledge you can go.
I was going to say with Kevin Apps, I think it's a great. I like him. I liked him taking hockey trade because I think the thing with Al is like I think he knew he wasn't going to stand pat.
Yeah,
that's not like he hasn't stand pat.
No, I'm not saying he's stand pat. I'm just saying like this is probably like the best significant hockey trade he's had. I mean, whether it'll work out or not, or not is another thing, but I think there's some risk involved. But I think but he's willing to in case Stan was a popular guy in the locker room, and beloved, and I agree with that. But in order to make this team better, you got to make some tough decisions. That's what's same thing with Brandon Bean. Like as Bean, it's like you got to make those hard decisions of make your team better, and that's what this was about. I mean. Short term, it's impact scoring, but it's what has to be done here. So, all right, so moving on.
So we are going to go on to transition into that where Mike was going on where the pending Sabres UFAs goes. Obviously, at this point, yes, we have Olsen with 1 year left on his deal, as well as Kyle Oposo. Eric Johnson. I threw him Robinson there. I don't think he's going.
I'm surprised you threw in Robinson there. That's
but he's a UFA after this season. So, let's start with Oposo because right now on the trade watch from the fourth period, I will name you teams that he's rumored to be.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to throw in people also, regards to trade deadline off season, whether you think it'll be coming to Buffalo. So, right now, the three teams you mentioned, one was New York Rangers.
You're always mentioned.
The other two was Colorado, which I will say most not likely.
Yeah.
Florida. And
Wow.
also,
Really?
but I will throw in Boston because I did see something on Twitter that was linking Gergensons and Oposo to Boston. So let's start with the Rangers. Explain to me why the New York Rangers would make sense.
Well, they're a veteran team. New York wasn't he with the Islanders before? So he's
Yes.
in that New York area,
Yes.
and I know he likes that area. I heard him talking. And the Rangers always are in that 3-4 teams out of the East. You know, I just think he would fit in with them. At his state, he's been a good player. He's been a leader for us, and I think he went up to Kevin Adams, and I think Adams is saying, as you're ending your career, we'll try to move you to a team that's got a shot. You know,
I mean, both Gergson and Poso are the two
Yeah.
longest tenured Sabres.
Yeah.
I mean, and I mean Gergson's. I mean, who, it almost is kind of like symbolic of
Yeah.
the drop, like
Failure.
A failure. I mean, and you hate to see it because they're loyal guys. And they've been Gergson's longer than a Poso. And Poso, I mean, it's just but I'm gonna I agree. I'm gonna say Poso to Boston. I think that I'm gonna
I would hate to see that.
I hate
As
to
a
do it.
Bruins not lover, you would. New England Patriots.
Yeah.
Red Sox.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't even watch the Red Sox. Sorry, so I'm
I don't.
I'm not watching baseball.
Go Yankees.
But I will.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna. But I'm the posting Gergesons. I can see. Either. I mean, Florida. I mean, I don't think Florida makes sense. I don't. To me, New York or Boston would be the two most sensible.
I know Boston wasn't mentioned in the fourth period. Like I said, here's what I would say about this. I would say Rangers are an interesting thing because you lost Blake Wheeler for the year, so you're losing some veteran leadership. Boston, as much as we complain how old they were in certain situations, with losing Krejci and you got Marchand up there in the early 30s and all that sort of stuff. I mean, they're still rolling. They are still rolling as a cup contending team, except for when Vegas. Yeah, or no, not Vegas. Who outed them in the first round? Toronto again?
Last year?
Yeah.
Toronto last year.
Yeah.
So
how would they still get that match again? I have no idea. It's just,
it must be what the league wants.
I don't know. No, but it was go back to because I must admit I thought Boston was going to be one of those teams that's going to be out the top four. I mean, given all the turnover they had, I mean,
They have a system of winning. Boston.
They do, and that's the thing,
just-
though. Like,
and also,
but
I think
you put a Bruins uniform on, and whoever they put in, the guys produce. I hate to say it, but there's certain cultures that the Bruins are one.
I will say this though: if you're looking for a little bit more grit and some playoff, not playoff experience, but like look for that, Gergensen would be a good fit for them. Because, like they said, they got bounced out in first round, and Toronto's scoring heavy, top loaded.
Toronto will choke again.
That must be a bold prediction. But the only way I could see Florida making sense is you have Sam Reinhart and Brandon Montour.
Man, what's gotten into him? He's got 40 goals already.
It's a contract year. What do you think is going on?
These contract years.
Who would ever thought Sam Reinhart
some about contract years. They just produce.
Just out of curiosity, who do they got linked to the Sabres coming to the Buffalo?
I will get to that in a moment.
Yeah,
but let's go. Let's transition to Olsen. Colorado, I think, is out of the question.
Victor Olofsson?
Yes, Colorado.
He scored a great goal last night.
Yes, he did.
That was
for not playing in so many games.
They also saved his energy.
But here's the thing with Victor Olofsson there. Like, Olofsson's like, that's all he's known for is like, the shot there.
Yeah.
I gotta
steal that.
Go ahead, Mike. No, yeah, go ahead, Mike. But yeah, hey, I don't blame you. But here's the point. But what else does I mean, obviously career 26 goals, but it's been clear for the longest time that they've been trying to move Olofsson. So I think, to me, I don't see him going during this trade deadline. I think it's an off-season move. I mean, obviously last year
you wonder how many moves you're going to make tomorrow.
Who knows?
Well,
I see 3.
I do see. I didn't realize Carolina might be interested, but they're trading for Jake Gensko.
Oh,
they just
they
they got the trade done. So that was
okay. So I mean that still might be a move by tomorrow. But Olsen, I don't know the fit for maybe Winnipeg if they're looking for some depth scoring. I've thought Rangers too, but again, I have no clue where Olsen might end up. I don't know if he'll be traded by tomorrow.
But I think is it your trade for scoring? Like somebody can like, hey, we can make him, like a third line guy, and then be a power like stretch it a year ago. He's not going to be he's not the best 2-way player. We all know that. But I think if you're looking for some depth scoring, he would be a fit for like the Winnipeg Jets or one of these other teams that are on that need depth scoring. Like
do you see Carolina looking for depth scoring?
Probably, I would think so. I think
who else would you consider? Toronto? Would you consider anybody like trying to get in the playoff race in the East or Western Conference?
Good question. I mean, I'm gonna, Washington. Washington's like if you're like anywhere like 2-4 points back. I mean, like, oh man, they're
were they close?
I'm not sure. Don't. That might be. I'm not sure.
Let me check the window.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. You're just checking the game lineup there, but I'm going to say, Carolina is, Carolina's definitely one of the teams I would be interested in. Would be in. I think at this point, I'm going to look up NHL wild card here. Oh, yeah.
Bowen Byron is making a serious debut tonight.
No,
Bowen Byron, I
don't believe he
the Honors, Tampa. Actually, I would say if you're like the Honors, Tampa, Detroit, like
Philly, maybe.
I think Philadelphia would be. Philadelphia's been a surprise a year. For that, I think Philadelphia would be Carolina. I think Detroit. I mean, Detroit's got to be. I think the Honors would probably like.
Fred, you just got traded to Tampa Bay.
Oh,
see, now I was going to talk about Eric Johnson because they were looking for depth defenseman. And let's go to Eric Johnson.
I was excited when they signed him.
I do not know if he'll be traded by tomorrow. He probably will be. I feel like Tampa Bay is the most likely destination.
Yeah.
Johnson, I think we say Eric Johnson's been kind of unfortunately been a disappointment. I agree. Now I didn't expect him to do too much. Be later. I think early. But I think it's just. But his play has regressed so much.
Why would he sign with Buffalo? When anybody signed him, I was stunned. I was like, "The guy's a veteran. We're not going anywhere."
Well, I think the point was veteran. He won the cup a couple years ago. I think you're a veteran relation leads forward and make the next step. Yeah. Unfortunately,
is Nashville still in the playoff race?
Play Nashville.
Yeah, tonight, Nashville.
Because I was wondering if he would be a fit for Nashville too.
I would say
maybe he'd just stay in Nashville after the game,
or Vancouver. I don't. Again, I'm not sure what the salary cap is for some of these teams.
Yeah, I think Nashville's in the hunt.
Nashville, wow.
Oh, look. Oh, so speaking of Predators, Predators. These trades are happening so fast. Have been happening like all over the place. I mean, so they acquired Jeremy Hansel in the third round in 2025.
That was a report earlier.
And Anthony Billy from Chicago. I mean, but again, I think Nashville can be another team to look for depth scoring for veteran president Derek Johnson would be it as well here. So and then Robinson. I
don't think he's going.
No, I doubt it. Could somebody make a last minute pitch and bring him in? I doubt it, but I'm thinking he's staying. He might be somebody be an off season name. But we thought Casey Millsap was going to be an off season thing until yesterday.
I'm going to throw a curveball at you guys.
Really?
And I want you to think about this for a split second. But what do you think about Peyton Krebs? Could you still see him being a Buffalo Sabre by the trade deadline, or Peyton Krebs, or do you think he could potentially be traded?
I see. To me, I don't see him traded by deadline. I think you don't make the case out moves. You put him in a bigger role. That's where he's got playmaking ability. He's got, I think, it's playmaking ability. I think he's more than a fourth line guy. I think he can be like in your top six, or top nine. I think he has that potential. Now, I think what really needs to happen is you need more scoring winners and you need the young guys to step up. So I think, to me, I don't see Peyton Krebs going anywhere unless you make an offer that you can't refuse. That's the only way. But other than that, I'm not trading him. So,
I mean, if you're thinking about bringing Boone Jenner, Scott Lawrence, that may be where the
I wouldn't bring Scott. I'm sorry, I'm not bringing Scott Lawton. I'm sorry. I think Boone Jenner would be better than Scott Lawton on this.
Okay, that was just a quick take. I mean,
man,
we can go over this. But now I'm going to bring up some names according to the fourth period that you could see being brought in, not necessarily by the deadline, but in the offseason. Let's start with the Rangers and Capo Caco. Teams reportedly linked to Capo Caco. He's age 22. He's a cap of $2.1 million right now. Are Buffalo, Minnesota, Anaheim, and Pittsburgh.
To me, I mean, that thing's been brought up. I think I just don't see the potential. I mean, he's 22. I mean, he's definitely underwhelmed. I mean, there's a lot underwhelmed for me. I mean, I don't think it's an intriguing thing to me to bring in Kako. I just, I'm not sold on it. I mean, I would see more of a depth forward rather, to me right now. I mean, 22, you never know. I mean, I think what we've seen with Don Coronado, with
23 at this
23.
Point. Go ahead.
With Don Coronado, he has, now he made Thompson to 50 goals.
Yeah.
Some other stuff. So I think but I'm not buying it. Sorry.
Mike, you have an opinion on this one?
No, I just read some news here about a trade, a former Sabre that could be on the block to New Jersey just now.
Go ahead.
Allmark.
Linus Allmark, yes.
I guess, I don't know. I heard Boston is shopping him, and New Jersey is very interested.
Well, New Jersey's,
I thought Allmark was like their stud last year.
Him and Swayman.
The other goalie's playing better.
Yeah, Jeremy Swayman there. I mean, yeah. I mean, Jersey. I mean, they haven't had solid goaltending at all. I mean, and why they fired Lindy Ruff, they
lost patience with Lindy Ruff.
Oh man,
yeah,
because that's what
he's coming back to Buffalo.
All right, let's get to the
hold on, I'm the host of the show. You know that darn well. We're still going through potential moves.
I think
I'm gonna throw.
You mentioned.
But go ahead.
You mentioned. I tell you, you mentioned defensemen. We were talking about defensemen. You were mentioning Powers and Deline. They signed that other guy to a ridiculous contract.
Connor Clifton, you're talking?
Samuelson.
Matthias Samuelson.
How many games has he played? He's been hurt every year, and they gave him big money.
Well, not necessarily big money, but that was our question I was going to throw at you as a potential trade candidate. Not necessarily now, but off season.
Down the road.
The road. Because I brought Scott Lyon because he was rumors linked him to as 114 is Toronto, Edmonton, Buffalo, Colorado. But let's just say, let's go to number one Bills fan for San Jose Sharks is Logan Couture. The guy who's close to 30, he's 34, he could be a veteran leader.
Yeah.
Still.
Well, if you're replacing Okposo, you're going to get rid of him. You got to bring somebody in that's a leader on his team. And he'd be a guy.
I think the only thing I would worry about, 34, again,
that's young.
Not in hockey terms.
Not in hockey terms.
I know.
Yeah, I know, John. I'm 32. Yeah. So what am I kid?
Oh, jeez.
Damn. I mean, I call myself old there. 34 years old. Like what?
Yeah, I got the gray hairs to prove it, Mike. Maybe it won't say nothing about you. But I also there was been talks about Merzlikins and Gibson as for goaltending? Because up until this point, we were questioning about UPL and Luke Levi. Levi's going to need more time.
Levi
to develop.
needs to develop, and I think it's good that he's playing.
And he's actually played well in Rochester. I think that was,
Upa is playing fantastic.
I mean,
how much did you think
see
that was
maybe
going to happen this year?
I didn't see. I thought Levi was our guy. But I tell you, I could see the other goalie getting traded tomorrow. Comrie. I could see him getting traded.
Yeah, I think Comrie.
We need some new hockey pucks. Trade them.
Well, yeah. Well, our cousin Quig is like a
talk about Trey Thompson power for a bag of pucks. You know him.
Yeah, bag of pucks. Like he's got more pucks than
You mentioned leaders too, and I really thought, and I read a good article last week about they were talking about Kevin Adams, and I still can't believe we didn't land Patrick Kane. I know Kane wanted to come back to Buffalo, and he would have been look what he's doing in Detroit.
I mean, yeah, that's I think
I think he might thought it might be more of a fit right now to be with Detroit than he saw in Buffalo.
I know he wanted to come back,
and he might still be able to come back next year. But again,
favorite line again next year.
Yeah.
So speaking of Lindy Ruff,
that's where we're gonna have some debate about this one.
Bring him
Not
back.
debate.
Bring him back.
Hold on. I kind of alluded this to in the last segment. Like it's I mean, there's only played like he's been with 2 other teams. Why haven't they let him go after a couple of years? I mean, that's a valid question. I mean, if you're going to hire Lindy Ruff, I would hire him as more of an advisor to the team here. I think.
Yeah, I mean, but I still think he's got maybe not. I agree. You know what? I think we need a hockey director of hockey operations.
But what I mean,
where Adams, I think you got to have a guy.
Well, I mean, to me, you're not. I mean, let's just take the 13 years of coach out. Like, he's got a wealth of hockey knowledge.
I
think Lindy's better days are as a coach behind the bench are over. I think he peaked in Buffalo.
I think you're missing the point with Lindy. I guess last year they were ascending team.
Oh, what happened to them this year? They're not.
Well, they lost.
Severson got traded to Columbus,
Yeah.
Was it Columbus?
Yeah.
And then who?
Miles Wood got traded to. Miles Wood got.
We're trying to find out. Was it Severson and who's the other guy that they shipped out after this past season? And also I heard injuries were.
Well, they trade for Timo Meyer. Like.
Yes, they trade for Timo Meyer. But I will say this: I don't
think
it's totally something. I want to say this, like you said earlier. This was a patient situation. I don't think Lindy was totally the problem because you also have to factor. Why are the Devils looking for goaltending?
Yeah.
So and they were.
I like Lindy, and Lindy's a Buffalo guy. He's always had it. But I think, like you said, I think maybe you bring him back at some role in the organization.
I mean, to me, because he brings that experience.
If you, let me ask you though, if you were to make a coaching move, who'd be a guy you go after?
God,
I don't even know.
There's been so many.
Well, to me, I think
just hope it's not Rolston again.
No,
oh my God,
no,
not Rolston. Who was the guy we had?
You mean
was
Kruger?
A soccer. Oh yeah, he was brutal.
You mean Kruger?
Trade? What? Oh, that's an old
That's
one.
just my.
Fred's bringing up the touchdown Buffalo. To me, like
But you got to be a tough ass. Well, excuse my language. But look at the guys that are succeeding now. Tockett. The guy in Carolina, Brindamore. Granado uses the same damn excuses every game. It's like 60 games into the year. Well, we're still, I don't want to hear it, Granado. You're a good guy, but you know what?
I disagree. I mean, I disagree with Granado. I think
we need a move there.
I'm not totally sold on move. And here's my thing, though. Like, I don't think Granado, I don't think you can totally blame Granado for. I think it's, you can say with some of the assistants, but I don't think Granado's totally the problem from here. I think you need better players around, a better talented roster around Granado, and then I can make a fair assessment. I don't think now. Grant, Grant, is he the guy to bring to the next level? Probably not. but I think from the circumstances he was in, I think he's done a really good
I don't
job.
think he.
I'm
I disagree. I really. They can't win at home. He's a great guy. He's a nice guy, but I don't think he's the player.
I
I
think
don't think the players. I think it's too easy on them.
I
You
well
know,
wait oh,
and I hate to say it, they should be better
for
than they're.
I agree.
They
I
are.
was gonna say I think we all agreed. We thought we with them being out.
If you take a look, here's where we're going to rebuttal to both of you as a compromise. At times, yes, sometimes when I'm watching games, yeah, my push button wants to say fire Granada. But then here's where I look at things. You take a look a couple of years ago when the Sabres were on 8 to 10 plus games losing streaks before Granado took over. And last year, this team was more offensively explosive. You have to take into consideration that I think they were trying to work on playing more of a structure, more team defense, and their offense took a step back, was why your power play might have been down. And don't forget, Thompson got injured in the one Boston game this year with not only his foot, his shoulder from Charlie McAvoy earlier in the year, and Cousins was on and out this year. So your scoring has not been what.
Well, don't
it
forget
was.
Jack Quinn because
Jack Quinn
They
was,
were counting on Jack Quinn.
Jack Quinn. Now you could say J.J. Turka has stepped up in some respects. That's one bright spot. UPL has been, and overall, I would say they are not going on like more than 3 or 4
But-
game losing
but-
streaks. However, you for most
Look-
part this year you have not gone over like 2 wins except for.
But in the NHL lately, it's what have you done for me lately? And look how many coaches have been let go this year.
it's been insane. I mean,
We keep our guys.
And
still.
I am not disagreeing with that perspective. I get that from.
Ottawa made a move. The Devils made a move.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that. Here's where I would say if Gurnall should be fired is if things are not going well next season. But I take more onus on the players. With some of this, I will take more onus on the players for not delivering what they're supposed to, and especially Skinner. I mean, I know he's a streaky scorer, but come on now. You can't tell me he scored 40 goals last year on that line, and this year he's not even up to 20. Now, and remember when the one thing we all criticized Ralph Kruger for was benching Skinner and playing him on the fourth line. Well, what if he knew something that we didn't know that, like seriously, like you were, that's the part where it's like, okay, I can understand, like that's where I'm saying that. And then remember when the Rochester American was coaching for 2 games while Donnie was sick, and
step after
they went 1-1, and he was saying the same thing Donnie was too, that they need to get play in front of the net and not be a perimeter team and all that sort of stuff. And if they decided to fire Granado, they would probably go with the Rochester Americans coach. Because do you think you're going to bring in Babcock? I wouldn't be bringing Babcock. You think
nobody's bringing Babcock
Lindy
anyway.
Ruff, but I would see Lindy Ruff as more of an assistant coach to help out Granado. I mean, that's how I would look at it. But
I don't think that's going to happen, only because Lindy likes power. I know Lindy Ruff is used to being a guy in charge.
Exactly.
I think
don't
when you
disagree
bring
with
in somebody
he has
that's
been an assistant before.
and is looking, I think Renato would be looking over his shoulder.
I don't know. I don't know if he necessarily.
I don't know. I really need to look and see who's out there. For
I'm
coaches.
sure. I mean,
Unless they fired Rob Brindamore in Carolina,
love
that I would.
Well,
sign up.
is he a free agent coach or is he under?
He might be after this year. I do not know, but
Mike Babcock.
No,
but Babcock's.
Babcock's is
No,
no-go.
I know. All right. Well, let's see.
Let's do our little
should
final thoughts here.
Tomorrow should be interesting.
It went live, but I guess I didn't.
We got no fans.
Yeah, did I not hit?
It's live.
It's live, but am I recording?
It's recording. Yeah.
Final thoughts. First of all, final thoughts. Well, we've been talking football, hockey all over the place, but I just want to condolences to Chris Mortensen's family. If you remember
Yes.
who Mort was,
Yes.
Was the best,
That was
the
very
best,
sudden.
the best insider for the NFL. He was the guy. Mortensen was around forever, highly respected. The Mort Report. He was the guy before like John Clayton and
Adam Schefter.
Adam
and,
Schefter.
those,
Mortensen was just tremendous, and he was to the point, and he was good, and so
Right.
we're gonna miss him. I can't wait for next week with the NFL too. You
free
got
agency.
Yeah.
Free
So my
agency.
final thought, obviously yesterday was tough. It was tough day. I mean, it was tough. Was a tough, for one of the more impactful sports days in Buffalo history. It's sorry, one more impactful sports day yesterday. Worse in trade fight.
Yeah.
That represented in my opinion, the culture change of from the drought area to the playoff area we're currently in. And that to me, it's going to be. It's going to be a loss. No doubt about it. But I just want to, but life goes on. And I think
they're going to be fine.
They're going to be fine. But I just want to give them thanks to the years of play they had. So we're going to miss you guys. And best of luck, guys. Fred, do you have any final thoughts?
Fred,
The host.
I was just checking to see that it was going on YouTube. I didn't know it was going on Facebook because I didn't see
Fred, final thoughts working with us tonight.
Thank you for joining us, Mike. It was a pleasure. You couldn't ask for a better reaction and better people to comment on things.
This is my last show at 59.
Oh,
The
yes,
next time
happy
I will, I'll
birthday.
be 60.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Call me. We'll do a pie. I'll be in Arizona. I could give you a spring training update.
Oh,
I'm gone the week. I could say
it's
how
funny. The Cubs
are
fan.
doing.
Yeah, I know. Funny enough,
I'll call you by my.
Not so much
pool.
our thoughts, but I just I'm curious to see what goes down tomorrow by 4 p.m. What will happen, if anything?
I'm going to talk to Andrew Peters in the morning. He's one of my parents. If Andrew drops off his son, I'm right there. I'm going to ask him what he's expecting.
He told the Subaru story on his podcast when we first signed up Poso in 2016, and he said he's
not a Granado fan either.
I get that. He says he was forgot to test out his brakes, but what he really was doing was avoiding me going up to Subaru because I was like a deer in the headlights. I bring this up every year because it's like, and I know Rebbe said I wasn't being a good teammate. I was actually working at Red Roof at the time.
Yeah, it was a joke, Freddie. He wasn't being a good teammate.
Yeah, I know it was a joke.
I'm not being a good teammate.
I should call you guys tomorrow and say this is what Andrew Peters says.
Yeah, just tell him that someone knows the other half of that story that he's dying to tell on his show.
Funny enough, I ran into you at the gas station. You were talking about the playoffs.
Yes, and I've run into the Target a couple times, but it's like I've never told.
He's a good guy. He's a really good guy.
Yeah, he's like a candy cane.
Yeah, he's a really good
6'4". No.
All right.
That would be doing for our third episode.
When are we going to do another one? We got to.
I will.
We're doing a clip show.
You want to know? I was. The guys from Quigley and Suriname would love to do one and hint you. He wants to show off his little pocket. If you haven't seen those episodes, go watch the archive. And thank you for tuning in. This will be uploaded to the Facebook page as well as X and Twitter. So thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
And,
Peace out.
You can watch the replays on that and see you all soon.